Hi everyone, welcome back to Halle's Eternal Grind, where we shed light on mental health awareness. Today we are discussing men's mental health. Let's learn and love some. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe. Here we go. Hi everyone, welcome back to Halle's Eternal Grind. Today we're here with a very special guest, and we will be discussing men's mental health. But before we dive in, can we get your name?
My name is Dokyi.
Like I discussed, we will be talking about men's mental health, but before we dive in, I would like to get, some info about our special guest, and I'm pretty sure you guys do too. So would you like to tell us what you do, what you enjoy, and what you're all about?
Yes, sir. Yeah, so my name is Manny, like I said. Some of the stuff that I really like to do is I like to do a lot of art stuff. I just like to express myself just through what I make and what I create. I have an Instagram page, and you can find me on Childlike Manny on any Instagram or any social media, where I just like to express myself just through art mediums and stuff like that. But I also like to do track and field and just stay athletic and stuff like that.
Amazing. All right, guys, we're about to dive into some context, which is very vulnerable and sensitive, but needs to be discussed. Manny, I would like to ask you, what does mental health mean to you?
Yeah, for me, mental health just means like taking care of your mind. Like, we like to think about physical health and like taking care of our body, like what you eat, like how you work out. But mental health is really just taking care of your mind, because again, a lot of stuff that we do really stems from our mind. So mental health for me is just like making sure that my mind is also in check as well.
Amazing. And why do you think in our society that we don't acknowledge men's mental health? Like, why do our society think that men must be strong, that they shouldn't come forth?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I think in society, we've seen time and time again that people like to just view men as you have to be strong. And although, like, yes, biologically, like, men, again, are seen as stronger and biologically, I also think that in the same way, like, our minds are just as much, like, as capable as women. And like, our minds are still as fragile in certain ways, like, probably even more fragile sometimes. And I think sometimes because people in society view men as you have to be strong, you have to be responsible, you have to do whatever, just do what you got to do. Sometimes like mental health is kind of put down, like just like toughen up, just man up, as people say. That sometimes it's not acknowledged that, oh no, but our minds sometimes can be fragile. Sometimes we do need to like talk about deep topics to make sure that we're better.
And I often think that in our society we view fragile as weak, but no, vulnerability is strength, and we need to uplift our men in our society. And I would like to ask you as well is, when do you notice when your mental health capacity is low? Like, how do you know?
Yeah, for myself, it's like I see it a lot in like my day-to-day changing a little bit more. Is that maybe like the stuff that I enjoy doing, I don't want to do no more. Maybe it's like, for instance, like with art, maybe it's like I have an idea what I want to create, but all of a sudden it's like I don't want to make time for it anymore. I just want to just like lay on my bed and just like kind of just put outside like the world and like my responsibilities. Those are like some day-to-day signs that I really see. But sometimes even for myself, it's like maybe it's like I'm a Christian and stuff like that, but maybe it's like I'm not talking to God as much. Maybe I'm not even trying to be in community, talk to other people, and those are just signs of like, okay, what's going on? Like maybe like my mind is not in the right place, and stuff like that. And again, even like slowly, even I might even see like just decay even in my physical health. Like maybe I'm not taking care of what I eat, or even how I work out, like, and those are just like some signs for myself. Is when I start to see that, or maybe my mind is not in the right place, like mentally and stuff like that.
Okay, so that leads to my next question. What do you do when you feel that you need to uplift your mental well-being? Like, do you have like go-tos, or can you let us know?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, for me, like, I think sometimes taking time to just step away from media. It is so, like, I think for me at least, being on social media a lot, it's also very, very easy to also compare yourself to other people, and also very, very easy to just like take people's highlight reel and feel like, oh, it needs to be like that, and you're always just trying to match yourself up to people, that it can just like really like take a toll on your mental health, at least for myself. But what I like to do is again take time aside from social media, maybe just go outside, go on a time where I just like get to pray to God sometimes, and even just listen to music. Sometimes just it doesn't have to be like anything crazy, just listening to music. Just taking the time. I think the most important thing is just stepping aside from media for a little bit to at least just be myself and just do the things that I enjoy doing.
I agree. Stillness is key when it comes to your struggles and that time when you need to uplift your mental capacity. Another thing I wanted to state is, like, can you recall a specific time in your life where you just felt like the lowest of the lows, and can you just if you don't mind giving us a little context.
Yeah, 100%. Like I think about a couple years back, around like 2020. I remember this was, of course, COVID was happening at this time, and everybody was like in their houses. I was back at home, and the relationship with my parents, like it's all right. I mean, and with my dad at least, and it definitely needed help at least around that time. And now being at home, it's like, all right, I'm there every day, everything's going on, and not only just that is that I also got injured, and that took me out of track and field for like a whole year. So now, not only am I at home because of COVID, I'm also at home and I can't walk because of my injury. And then, of course, I'm on social media all the time, so I'm constantly comparing myself and all this stuff. And it was just like everything was just being added on top of it. And then my schooling wasn't even doing that well at the time as well. And I just felt like so many things were just being added that were just like hurting my mental health and taking a toll on my mental health. And for myself, what I really needed to do was take time to, again, take time to step aside from social media a little bit. Take the time to even talk to my dad and be like, these are the things that are actually going on that I feel like we really need to try to figure out. Take some time to even like do the things that I even wanted to do. Around the time I started like writing poetry, like listen to more music, and those are some things that I started to find for myself help my mental health. Aside, even though some things were actually like pretty hard at the time. So for me, I needed time to step aside from social media, but also address some of the things like with my dad, as well as also adding on some of the things that I like doing, like art and all that stuff like that.
That is amazing. Thank you for sharing that with us. I would like to ask, like, from that difficult time, is there something you still carry that's positive to you to this day? Like, is it like a phrase that probably your dad gave you? Is there a specific thing or an item that reminds you of what you overcame?
Yeah, 100%. I for me, like, I think about just at least some motivational quotes, and but at least mostly scripture that I think about. And there's a scripture that basically talks about how, like, in John 16:33, like Jesus says that in this world you will have trouble, but take heart, I have overcome the world. And I think for myself, like, being able to, and I think for myself, just being able to kind of like, even like think about that scripture and think about how basically Jesus had gone through a lot of like struggle and trouble, but even himself, he tells his people like understand that you're gonna go through struggle. Like, it's not like this world you're gonna be exempt from it. You're gonna go through it, but just know that Jesus got you, and the idea that he goes before you. And I think being able to kind of reflect on that helped me to understand that even though I had gone through an injury at that time, even though COVID was happening at that time, even though there might have been some familial troubles or relationship troubles, at the end of the day, it's like the God that created me also goes before me and is like going ahead of me. And that was something that really helped me, alongside just like even talking to him and allowing myself to even like journal and even write down some of the hard stuff that I was going through at the time, was ways that really helped me to be on a solid foundation.
I love that. What would you say to other males that face mental difficulties that struggle with that vulnerability piece? Do you have any advice to give them?
Yeah, 100%. Like, I think there's gonna be people in your corner, one way or another, whether or not you see it or not. There's always people that are looking after you and that are caring for you. And my advice would be to find those people and just sit down with them. It doesn't have to be in a group setting. Sit down with at least one person and really just allow that person just to know some of the stuff that you're going through. Because I think sometimes when you allow your heart to be open a little bit more, that's when like your mind is also able to also be open, and also it kind of helps your mental health a little bit more. And like, you don't gotta try to fight things on your own. You don't gotta just try to man up when you can't. You really just get to allow yourself to be free and allow somebody else to also know the struggles that you're going through. That also helps them to not only help you and aid you in any way that they can, but also it just kind of helps you to kind of take the weight off of yourself. That you don't gotta carry it alone. And also lastly, just sometimes you gotta just allow yourself to, again, we were talking about it before, just be. Like, allow yourself, take time to step aside from the chaos. Maybe take time to step aside from like your normal schedule, and just sit down, journal a little bit, and just be. Listen to your favorite music for a little bit and just be. Because honestly, sometimes we're also just caught up in like the day to day that we don't get time for ourselves. But schedule time even for yourself. So both find somebody that you could talk to, but also schedule time for yourself to just be. And that's the advice that I was saying.
That was amazing. Like the fluidity that you just spoke into this mic is a blessing. But I just want to say as well, community is key. I told y'all, share with y'all, it's not about me, but there was a time in my life where all I wanted to do was isolate. Like I didn't want to talk to nobody. I didn't want to talk about the vulnerability. Like even though it's for men, we use men up. Women do too. They told women to like be strong. But like no, for everyone, it don't matter, male or female. Like speak your truth. If something is bothering you, talk about it. All right, Manny, do you have anything else to add for the people?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, for me, like I would just say to those that are listening, like as you're going through life, like try to live with intentionality, try to live with purpose. Like with everything that you do, try to be intentional with it. Whether it's school, whether it's sports, whether it's any career, any passion that you like, any passion that you're doing, any like your family, just be intentional in all areas. Because people, not only do people appreciate intentionality from you, from yourself, but that's also a way for you to respect your own self. That when you're intentional with everything that you're doing and you're living with purpose, like you're gonna see a lot of fruition. You're gonna see a lot of success in any way that success is viewed in your eyes. So just live with intention with everything that you do. Like for myself personally, like I said, I am a Christian. I am a disciple of Jesus. But it's like for me, living with intentionalities every day, day in and day out, like making sure that I am giving intentional time to God, allowing the one that made me, like giving him the necessary and respectful time that he deserves. And because of that, because I know that he's always looking, going before me, just that intentional time even helps my heart to know that, all right, I don't have to trust myself, but I can trust him. And even when it comes to sports, when it comes to like art, and when it comes to anything, I try to be intentional because at the end of the day, it's that people also respect when somebody has an intentionality and holds integrity. So what I would say is just always live with intention with whatever you do.
You're spitting. Oh my goodness. Like y'all take this in. Okay, I have one last question for you, Manny. Who is Manny? How would you define yourself?
Yeah, that's always a good question. I think a lot of times even people, just identities is something that we're always trying to figure out. Like, who am I personally? And even for myself, I can try to find a lot of different personas. Like, you might know me from Instagram as childlike Manny, but I can say that I'm athletic Manny when I do sports, poetic Manny when I write poetry, whatever. There's a lot of different things. But for myself personally, I like to say that, simply put, that I'm like a child of God. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to be known as a child of God, somebody that is faithfully living for God, a faithful servant of God. So if you were to see me as anything, like you could know me from my art as, oh, this childlike man, this is the guy that makes the artwork. You can know me from track as, oh, this athletic man, this is the guy that actually does track, or from church, or from any way. And like, you can, in no matter what context, you can view me in different ways. But how I want everybody to view me is somebody that was simply trying to live his life faithfully for God. Right? And I know for some people it can seem corny, like, what is this guy talking about? But at the end of the day, it kind of goes back to what I was talking about before, that I do see myself as somebody that was created by God. And I do think that everybody was created by God. So it's like, for me, I want to make sure that I'm doing everything for his glory. You know what I'm saying? That I'm a faithful child of God, a faithful servant of God. And that's what I would say Manny is. Emmanuel Dokyi is.
That was beautiful. Thank you. Oh my goodness. This has been such a blessing. Like, y'all, take the heat he just dropped. This is such a wonderful person, beautiful soul, all of the above. Like, this person, I just met him literally like 2 weeks ago, but since he stepped in my life, he has been guiding and just been doing the unthinkable. Like, introduced me to like community, church, family, and just all of the above. And we just appreciate you for coming on here today. This is such a blessing. We thank you for speaking on men's mental health, because it is vital in our society. It does not matter who you are. If you have a brother, a cousin, an uncle, a father, a boyfriend, a husband, check in with them. How are they doing? Because in our society, we always view vulnerability as weakness, and it is not. We're finna close out, y'all. Anything else to add before we leave? Again,
like, listen to everything that Halle's saying. Watch her page. You know, tune in to what she got going on, because it is heat. Like, it's just such a blessing for myself to be able to even talk about a little bit of my life, a little bit about my mental health, a little bit about just different experiences. But it's because, again, she gave me the opportunity to kind of come on here and then be able to speak. So keep at it. Like, keep watching her stuff. Just keep tuned with just what she's doing, because I know she's doing a lot of great stuff. But yeah, that's all I gotta say.
Thank you. I appreciate you, Manny. All right, we out. I ain't gonna say Halle out. We out.
We out.
Love.